Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Established in 2014, DeLuna Coffee is owned and operated by Ed, Courtney, and Brett Lemmix. Lifelong FSU fans and Seminole boosters. Ed, class of 79, and son Brett, class of 2009, along with Miss Courtney, can regularly be found tailgating near the Unconquered statue. Wake up with their breakfast blend called Five Flags, named after the five flags of their city, Pensacola. Higher caffeine because of the light roast. It is their unique blend of Mexican, Colombian, and Ethiopian Yirgacheffe beans. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! Welcome on into Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Promo code is Warchant15 for 15% off any of their great blends, as well as their merch. They've got a Wake Up Warchant tumbler, stainless steel. Thing is absolutely gorgeous. I recommend it if you want to look cool while you're fueling up. I know it's hot out there, everybody, but remember, coffee makes you cooler. Check out DeLunaCoffee.com. You will like it. And if you don't, just send it to me. I'll drink it, and I'll be awesome, because that's how I do things. And they got all sorts of flavors. You know that vanilla fudge, Corey? They got vanilla fudge, hazelnut, coconut rum, pumpkin pie, butter toffee rum, peppermint mocha, caramel, and then 2 varieties of macadamia nut, chocolate and vanilla. Something for everybody.
I mean, I'm telling you, what else do you want? That's an eclectic mix for the coffee lover in your family. Father's Day is coming up, right?
Yes.
A lot of summer birthdays are coming up. I assume you know people that were born in the summer. Anybody listen to this? Perfect birthday gift, perfect Father's Day gift. I'll be honest with you, Aslan, I think it's a perfect graduation gift.
It is.
Yeah.
Like you're
Dads
about to
and grads.
on the real world.
Yeah.
Fuel yourself up with DeLuna.
Yep, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's a great gift for really any occasion.
Our occasion here is to talk about sports with Florida State involved in it. Warchant.com does a great job of featuring said athletic events on their website, Warchant.com. Promo code is Warchant30 for 30 free days of access. Thumbs up button if you're listening to us on the YouTube. 5-star rating and a associated review on your iTunes iOS device would be much appreciated. We got a nice show for you today. Corey Clark sat down with Lonni Alameda, head coach of the Florida State softball team, right before she got on a jet airplane apparently to head out to Baton Rouge, a.k.a. Red Stick. Noles in their 8th straight super regional, taking on LSU. So great little one-on-one with Corey and Lonni. That'll be coming up later on in the program. I don't know if I want to force the football right now, Corey, but there's really not a lot of meat on that bone.
Yeah,
but
let's force it. Do it.
We've got a new. I don't have a song. I'm sorry, everybody. We've got a new equipment manager.
Oh,
Jason Baisden from Maryland. Apparently, maybe he's going to. Maybe he'll bring Under Armour down here, and we can free ourselves from the shackles of this color scheme and new logo. Maybe Under Armour could be our savior, but nonetheless, he was at Maryland. He is he's the equipment dude. That's probably the one guy that if you could only be friends with one person on a football team, and everyone's going to want to say the head coach, which is maybe the right answer. But I'd want the equipment manager. Equipment manager knows what's going on. He's got his fingers in the pot, knows what's going on. He's hearing stuff reverberating through the locker room, and then obviously he can get you anything you want: helmets, game-worn jerseys, team merch. Mm-hmm. That's the person you want to befriend, everybody. So his name is Jason Baisden. His Twitter is TJBAIS. I don't know where the T comes from. Maybe it's Timothy Jason Baisden. He just goes by Jason. Who knows? So we'll be outfitted and equipped by somebody. The other guy left. I don't know. He was there for 8 years and he left us.
Well, you did force the football there. Yeah, I guess you could get Powerade from him too. Maybe.
Yeah.
Does an equipment manager? They don't handle the Powerade, do they?
Ooh. Prior to coming to Maryland, Baisden was the University of Florida's equipment manager for 8 seasons.
Oh, what is this? Is he a saboteur? What is going on here? Because you couldn't go. It's like The Departed. You couldn't go straight from the police academy to then try to work for the mob. So Leonardo DiCaprio had to go to jail for like 8 months.
Right.
Like he had to pretend to get arrested and go to jail and live that life before he could join up with the mob. So, if you're going to Florida State to be a saboteur from the University of Florida, you can't go straight there. There's got to be a stop in between. And what's more innocuous than Maryland? Nobody cares about Maryland. So, maybe keep the antenna up a little bit.
He's a native of Lake City, Florida. Bazin earned his bachelor's degree in physical education in 1999 from Florida State University.
Never mind.
And received his master's in sports administration in 2000 from Florida State University. Okay. I apologize, Jason.
I apologize. Wholeheartedly, I apologize. When was he at Florida? Do we have the years?
After spending the 2004 season as assistant equipment manager, he spent 8 seasons. So from 2004 to 2012, I guess. If my math doesn't fail me.
So he was there. Man, talk about somebody that could tell some stories. The equipment manager for those Florida teams.
Let's get him on the show. Should we try to get him on the show?
As long as he'll tell us some stories.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to ask about Tebow, obviously. You can ask about all the criminals they had on that team. But I'm going to add in Urban and Percy Harvin. Was he in there when Percy punched out the coach? Was he in the field that day? But I'm just going to ask about Tebow and what a good dude he is.
Like, did you have to make like built-in holsters for Aaron Hernandez and the Pounceys? Like, did you have to sew in pockets for guns?
Think about that, man. For real. Like, that is, what a time. That's his first job, right? His first, like, real job?
Yeah.
Is the equipment manager for those Florida football teams. Like, Urban Meyer, he was there when Urban got there, or Urban hired him. Man, he should write a book. But yes, let's get him on the show. Man, I bet he could tell some. He probably won't share too many secrets. He won't tell us where the bodies are buried, literally. But he still has some. I bet he has some fun stories about that team and those players and that head coach. That head coach.
That head coach. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars problem. Is it going to work, Corey? It's not going to work, right? There's no way it's going to work. Sorry, Jags fans.
I mean, you look, man, Urban can coach. He's a very good football coach, clearly, but I don't know, man. He didn't have a good start when he hired who did he hire? The strength
Iowa
coach?
Strength coach that got ran out of Ames or Iowa City, rather.
Right, and Google that if you want to know why. And then one of his first moves is to get Tebow. And again, Tebow's a role player at best. He probably won't make the team. But what does it say? What does it signify to your players that this guy that you made magic with 13 years ago that hasn't played in the league in a decade, you're going to reach out to him and try to give him another shot? Do you care about the Jaguars or do you care about 2009 Florida? That would be my concern if I was one of the players on that team. But it's one.
What's more dubious, Corey? Bringing in Tebow to be your tight end, or when Spurrier brought in Werfel as like his 5th different quarterback that season in Washington?
Yeah, I think I would go with Spurrier because Urban hasn't coached a game yet. And it felt like when Spurrier did that, it was like, man, I got to go. I got to get the band back together. Werfel's the guy that gave me a national championship. Let me just try him because I'm out of solutions. I'm out of ideas. Let me get Werfel and see if I can get Riedel Anthony and Ike Hilliard on the team too, because I know I can win with them, at least in the SEC. But at least Urban's doing this before he's ever coached a game. And it's at a different position. So it's not a complete Hail Mary, please Danny Werfel, save me type of scenario, which of course wasn't going to work out. This is more of I want to give a guy that won me a lot of games a chance to stay in the NFL because he can't hack it in the major leagues. And apparently he doesn't like being a broadcaster that much. So
it's bizarre. I can't wait to watch it fail, though. Hoping it fails. Yeah, I said it. Hope it fails.
Meanwhile, and not because you have any ill will towards Jacksonville.
No, yeah, Jags fans, you need a reboot. And I know Urban is your reboot, but you need new unis, you need new colors. The teal and gold and the black is so hideous. It's so hideous. It's grosser than Florida State's black uniforms. They're that hideous.
Wow.
Just
okay.
Figure it all out. I don't know what. Just go to navy and white. Just keep it simple and clean, sharp, crisp. You're on the coast. Keep it tropical. The teal, gold, black is just gross. Just nothing ruins my Sunday more than knowing Florida State just got destroyed the day before. and then watching AFC South football, and then the Jags with their black uniforms playing horrible football. Makes me want to.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. That's one of the downsides of Tallahassee is sometimes you get stuck with Jacksonville football. And I say that might all be changing. Trevor Lawrence might be great, and they might be really exciting to watch. But man, it seems like for the last decade they have just been gross because they haven't had a quarterback. So every game, literally every Jacksonville Jaguars game that I've ever watched is 16-13. Yeah. Every single one of them. So hopefully that changes.
And they're playing the Texans every week, it seems like. It's always a Texans.
Do they play 6 times a year? It's like the Braves and the Phillies. Like they're always playing each other. It's nuts.
The AFC South is like the Bermuda Triangle of pro football. Like those teams, it's like the Titans are always playing the Colts, and the Jags are always playing the Texans every single week. Every single week. Well, Florida State starts our season off with Notre Dame. Are we under 100 days? Are we under 100 days?
Got to be right at it, right?
I mean, I know Sam McCall, who is a borderline 5-star recruit, was saying that he's going to be making his official visit for the Notre Dame game, and that's pretty much a game that the coaching staff is kind of trying to get everybody organized to come out for to see what they're going to have on display, which is a bold proposition to have everybody come out to that game. But then again, man, I'm all for it. Like, go all in on this. Like, blow this thing out and have all your top recruits come out and watch this game because you're not going to get embarrassed. It's going to be a competitive game. I don't think it's going to be give me the point. No, I'll take the points. I will take the points. I'll take the 9.5 and, give them a good weekend. And if you keep it competitive and it's a one-possession game, I don't think anybody's going to leave sad. 103 days, Corey. 103 days. We're getting close.
Just right around the corner, man. Once we get to double digits, that's all. Double digs, that's all we're looking for, man. Then we're in the home stretch at that point.
That's right.
Hey, by the way, because I like to keep people up to date on recruiting. Yeah. Apparently, a young man named Trayon Webb. Have you heard that name before?
I have not, Corey.
He is a 5-star athlete. He tweeted on Monday evening. Change of plans. Instead of Clemson, I will now be visiting Florida State on June 5th.
Ooh.
And then he tagged Ryan Bartow, Norvell, and Woodson. And then had a picture of Dalvin Cook flexing, a gif of Dalvin Cook flexing. So, hey, man, a 5-star athlete out of Trinity Christian. According to him, he's a 5-star athlete anyway. That's on his bio on Twitter. So I'm going to take his word for it. Yeah. He's a 5-star coming on June 5th for a visit. That's big news, right? I'm telling you. You get these guys in. That's a good sign. The best sign is getting the facts, but the second best sign is that they're actually coming to campus.
Absolutely. What do you think about Xavier Peters, Corey? Again, Xavier Peters of 2018? Did he sign in 18?
It's hard to remember. Yeah, the defensive end out of Kentucky, right?
No, Ohio. He was committed to Kentucky,
right.
flipped, signed with Florida State. Left after a year and was immediately eligible. Like, this was before the whole one-year rule got it ratified or whatever. And instantly went and played at Kentucky. And then after, I think, the 19 season, left Kentucky, was in a JUCO, still in a JUCO. And he's politicking pretty hard on social media to get another crack at coming to Florida State. And there's a thread on the PRB, the Premium Recruiting Board. It's up to 4 pages, which is popping. A lot of people say PWO. I'd bring him back as a PWO, preferred walk-on. Has to be no chance we give a scholarship to a guy that left and now wants to come back. But he didn't leave. He didn't leave Mike. He left Willie. That would be crazy. Has
that happened before? A kid transfers out and then transfers back within 2 years or ever?
Well, there was a kid. Brew McCoy, I think, from Texas, that committed to Southern Cal. He was committed to Texas, flipped to Southern Cal, and then immediately transferred and went back to Texas. But I don't think he ever enrolled. Yeah, to be enrolled for a football season, go to 2 other institutions for 2 other seasons, then come back full circle. And I don't know. I think he has a child. I'm not trying to get in the guy's business, but I would not think preferred walk-on would be a enticing proposition for somebody that might have dependence. But who knows? Maybe he misses the way he looked in those black uniforms at Florida State.
Right. I don't know how. Again, I don't know that Norvell would necessarily say. I mean, you got to do your due diligence, right? You'd ask Willie if he'd answer your email. You'd ask the staff at Kentucky. You'd ask people that know the young man. Like, is this worth us doing? Even thinking about it? Because again, he didn't leave Norvell, so Norvell has no history with him at all. And, who knows, man, maybe the second time around he'd be grateful for a shot to play at Florida State, you would think. But also, Aslan, may I ask you, is it usually a good sign when somebody has already transferred twice?
Fit in family, as long as he fits in the family here. You know what I mean?
It's weird, not that we were talking about basketball at all, you didn't ask me. But that's one of the not oddities, but one of the things to really keep an eye on when it comes to Florida State this year. Like, they got two clearly big-time transfers in the kid from Houston and the kid from Kentucky.
Caleb Mills and Cameron Fletcher.
And Cameron Fletcher. And, Mills quit his team in December, a team that made the Final Four, by the way. He quit his team in December, and Fletcher quit his team, left his team in December, and then came back. But he left his team as well. Yeah. And that's not usually that's I'm curious how that fits with Leonard Hamilton. I think clearly these guys respect Leonard Hamilton. You have to imagine they'll play hard for him, but usually there's somebody's transferring for a reason, and it's even a little bit more exacerbated when those people left in the middle of a season. That's not a great sign. Like if Calhoun had left and quit in January, only to return in February, I don't think we'd have a lot of positive things to say about him as a teammate. So I just wonder. I have no backstory at all with those two guys, but not all transfers are equal. And when you just leave a team in the middle of a season, I wonder how they're gonna assimilate to Florida State basketball. I'm sure it always works with Leonard, at least in the last half decade. It's worked out really well. I'm just really interested because he's never brought in two guys like this. Number one, a kid that played at Kentucky, and then another guy that was an all-conference preseason player of the year, that both of them left their teams in the middle of December. That's just, so that'll be something to watch. Intriguing to say the least, and I feel like Xavier Peters is like that. Like, Peters could end up somewhere and be great and be a model teammate and a model student, but so far in his scholastic career, it hasn't looked that way.
It's all about doing your research, Corey, so that you can stay safe. And that's why folks use NordVPN. That's Nord, like Nordic. Corey, do you use public Wi-Fi every now and then when you're out in the streets?
Of course I do, Aslan. Yeah, of course I do.
Well, Corey's going to probably download NordVPN. That's a virtual private network that encrypts his data and also keeps him anonymous because, stay out of Corey Clark's business, everybody. NordVPN can also help you unlock Netflix and your favorite entertainment websites. Comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and if you're not the most technical savvy person, it's okay. They got 24/7 customer support, live chat, emails, whatever you want. 4 dudes, 4 friends. They built this technology in 2012. Now they're to the moon. Use the promo code Warchant. Go to NordVPN. That's Nord. NordVPN.com/Warchant. You'll get a 2-year plan and an additional month with a huge discount, I'm being told. They also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Check it out, NordVPN.com/Warchant. Corey, history was made on Monday. I mean, there's history made every single day, but Florida State history, ACC history, our conference. First time in Atlantic Coast Conference history that any institution has earned player, pitcher, and freshman of the year in the same season. Florida State Baseball.
And that institution was Florida State.
Florida State Baseball. Matt Nelson, your player of the year in the ACC. Parker Messick got the other 2, right? Parker was the pitcher of the year and the freshman of the year, which is cool.
Yeah, man, he's really good. These last 2 outings notwithstanding, he's been great. He's battled through an injury. And look, I think Nelson's been the freshman of the year and the pitcher of the year were much more debatable, I thought, than the player of the year. I thought Nelson had kind of locked that up a few weeks ago. It was nice that he came on with a 4-hit, 2-homer game in that regular season finale. But, yeah, man, Messick has been, again, these last 2 outings notwithstanding, has been a rock, man. He's been awesome. And you look towards the future. I mean, he's a big league pitcher if he stays healthy. He's got the stuff. He's got the makeup. He's a Friday night guy. And you forget, I kind of was surprised. Like, man, he's not a freshman. What are they talking? And it's like, well, I guess, technically he is. Because he pitched in some huge moments in 2020. In hindsight, none of them were huge. Florida State might as well have gone 0-20. But in the moment, we thought they were really big moments. And he pitched against Florida. He pitched Texas Tech. He pitched like 3 or 4 innings against Texas Tech as a true freshman. He's just been lights out really since he walked on campus. So good for him. And that's really surprising. That's never happened before. You would have thought that would have happened. As many good teams and great players have been in this conference, you would have thought that stuff would have been shared once before.
Yeah. Well, Messick is the second player in ACC history to be named pitcher and freshman of the year. Do you want to take a stab at who the other one is? He was actually in the news earlier this year for throwing a no-hitter.
Oh, Rodon.
Boom. Attaboy,
All
Corey.
right, okay.
2012.
Little known fact about Carlos Rodon. So he was awesome. And Jameis Winston started against him one series in Raleigh. It must have been the 2012 season, and went 3 for 4 against him.
Huh, really?
Yeah. Again, that's, it's just, that's not fair to like normal people that Jameis Winston, facing a future major leaguer, a first-round pick as a freshman, a switch-hitting freshman, by the way, went 3 for 4 against Carlos Rodon.
My man.
And also did what he did in right field and became the team's closer and threw 95. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. He could have been a punter, I bet, like Charlie Ward. I bet Jameis Winston could punt.
Messick, the second Florida State player to earn pitcher of the year. Brian Henry.
Oh. And wait, he's only the second Florida State pitcher of the year?
Brian Henry is the only other Seminole to earn pitcher of the year. Messick joins Jonathan Johnson and Stephen Drew as FSU players to win freshman of the year. So there you go. There's only been 3 freshmen of the year in ACC history that got Florida State next to their name. And Brian Henry is the only other pitcher of the year in the ACC.
Brian Henry, the son of the great Jim Henry, who was my boss at the Tallahassee Democrat. And because you know how I am with Brady when it comes to his baseball career.
And real quick, just to note that the ACC hasn't done the annual pitching thing since they started in 2005, so that probably explains.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I was going to say, man, Paul Wilson was the number 1 pick in the draft. I would have thought he'd have been ACC pitcher of the year. Yeah. But anyway, so Jim Henry is a very laid-back person. At least I assume he is when it comes to sports and when it comes to baseball and watching his kid play baseball. And maybe that's why his son achieved those heights. ACC pitcher of the year, made it to AAA in the Diamondback system. Meanwhile, I stress out over my son's 12-year-old games. So maybe the Jim Henry approach, being kind of calm and chill, is the way to go.
And our guy, Matt Nelson, who's fresh off of his Clark curse, having been purged off of him, 8th Seminole to win ACC Player of the Year, first since DJ Stewart back in 2014.
I bet, let's see, Buster Posey probably won it.
I don't have the list in front of me.
Oh, it should have had that listed. I would assume Shane Robinson won it. Tony Thomas probably won it. I'm going to go ahead and assume J.D. Drew won it. But, yeah, the first one in 7 years. Good for him, man. And you talk about DJ Stewart was awesome. Like, he was. That was a matter of time. He was an All-American. He was a first-round pick.
Is he in the show? Is he in the show or is he working?
Yeah. I'm almost positive. I mean, I know he started in the show. I think he's just he plays for the Orioles. But like Matthew Nelson just came out of nowhere. Like, yeah, he was a solid player. He started as a freshman and hit 280. And then last year in 20-something games, he was hitting 250 or 260. But good grief. Like, to come out of, I mean, not obscurity because you're the starting catcher at Florida State, but I guarantee you all those other guys that won it, every other ACC player of the year has been like going into the season a favorite or a candidate. If you would have polled coaches before the season, give me a list of your 10 potential ACC players of the year, I don't know that Nelson gets a vote except for maybe me. So just really, really cool what he did. Just testament to hard work and self-belief and recruiting and all the good stuff, buddy.
And all you got to do, Matt Nelson, to be the best catcher in Florida State history is to put this team on your back, take them to Omaha, and win like 6 games. So
yeah, and raise that average about 70 points and go ahead and hit another 9 or 10 home runs. Then you got it. And even then, you're probably not better than Buster Posey. That's tough. You could be the second best catcher in Florida State history.
What if he goes on a tear, though? Like, what if he hits 5 home runs in Omaha and they win the national title?
Yeah, he wins it. Yep. If he does that, absolutely. Buster, scoot your ass over. There's a new best catcher in Florida State history. And he spells it Matthew.
I can't believe you didn't ask him that. I can't believe you didn't ask him what's up with the spelling of his name. You had him for 20 minutes, Corey, and that didn't – I mean, come on. Be the journalist, man. Come on. Grady School of Journalism, man.
I know. I did ask Lonni about if she could remember the last time they didn't make a super regional, and weirdly she could.
Yeah.
She remembered very vividly the last time. But you're right. Next time I get Nelson on, when he's on a tear in the majors, just so I can cool him down a little bit, I'll ask him about the spelling of his name.
Right. Real good segue then. We'll go to Lonni now. A reminder, well, not really a reminder, we haven't mentioned it, but Wednesday we'll be doing a live show, live program, YouTube, questions, phone calls, Gator Kirk, everything you could ever dream of and want. So,
what you thinking about time-wise for that, Aslan?
Yeah, it's 6:30. 6, 7, somewhere in there. That usual
I was thinking, can we do it closer between maybe 5:45 and 6?
Ooh, yeah, all right. Yeah, let's do 6. How about 6? Can we do 6? You want to do 6?
I think we can do 6. Yeah,
okay.
Let's do 6.
I'll do 6. Live, YouTube. Stay connected to warchant.com. Plenty of recruiting stuff dropping. I think Sam McCall, the one-on-one with he and Michael Langston, may be available on our YouTube or on the website. But, hey, how about a champion, a winner, just an awesome person? Here's your annual reminder of how awesome Lonni Alameda is, and we don't talk about her enough.
Welcome in, everyone, to another Warchant one-on-one. I'm with a national champion head coach, but that was in the past. We're talking about the present and the future. Lonni Alameda from Florida State. I wanted to ask you first, Coach. Congratulations, by the way, on another super regional. That's 8 in a row. So the last one you didn't make, if my math is correct, is 2013?
Yeah.
Maybe? What happened that year?
Yeah. We lost on a wild pitch over the catcher, bottom of the 7th. It was a tough one. Oklahoma State here, actually. Quite tough one. So, yeah. And then I think we learned our lessons, and we moved on from there.
Now, can you take me back? Because obviously you've had a test, and we'll talk about this present team in the future, but can you take me back to that era, 13, 14, and what that was like? You had taken over. You'd only been here a few years at that point. You'd taken over for a legend. You're coaching on a field that's named predecessor, which is all that easy. What was that like? Where was the program like? And what changes or reflections did you have to make within yourself as a coach to say we have to do this X, Y, and Z to get to the next level?
Yeah. Quite a few things, huh? Coach Kraft's amazing, been amazing in the game. So, yes, you're coming in for a legendary coach and filling some shoes, but you're also brought in to put your own sprinkle on it and figure out how to make maybe a little energy change, and I know at some point that's going to be down the line for me too. So, trying to figure out maybe a bit more of recruiting. The SEC was kicking in at the time. There was quite a bit of change in just college softball in general going on at the time. So, this program's predominantly been a pretty good pitching program over the years. Coach Kraft had amazing pitchers here too over the years. So offensively, we needed to figure out how to get after it. And, the changing of the game, right? Home runs has become a big thing. It's the game changed from when I played, went from the white ball to the yellow ball. They wanted more offense. They got into it. So we needed to change here a little bit with the offensive piece. So I think that's the biggest piece probably that's changed from maybe the Coach Kraft time to our time is it wasn't such a slapper game. It's changed to an offensive power numbers game. And that's, going out and getting Coach Wilson and Coach Cameron and getting after the offensive side of it was big for us. And even though those numbers haven't shown this year for us, but the mentality and the base running and the offensive production, has been big over the last 10 years for us.
And that's what I was going to ask about this year, which is so unique. 2 years ago, I think you led the country in home runs, right? You hit over 100. I mean, you hit a ton of home runs.
Yeah, we were up there. We were up there for sure. Yeah.
And then the year before, obviously, you win the national title. You have Jesse Warren. You have a bunch of bombers on that team, including the best baseball or softball, the best hitter I've ever seen in Jesse Warren. And then this year, you're still where you always are in the super regionals, the Sweet 16, if you will. And you're slugging like 414 as a team when normally you're always over 500. So I think it's a testament that even when you're not hitting maybe the way Florida State is accustomed to hitting, you've still found a way to be right where you are. How has that been? And what has that been for you as a coach? Have you had to adjust at all?
Oh yeah. This year's been trying. The expectation here is, not to be one of the 64 teams that make it. It's to be one of the 8 teams playing in Oklahoma City, and that's the standard. And that's the standard we want to. So as you're going through the journey of the season and your power numbers aren't showing up, you're like, ugh, how are we going to make this happen? Because in order to compete where we want to go, power numbers are a big part of it. And I think that we were so frustrated for so long that we didn't really take a step back and be like, wait, we're still winning ball games. We're still beating good clubs. We're still doing some really good things. So let's not get so fixated on doubles and home runs, and let's keep working on the things that we're doing. And there's been excitement to team at-bats. There's been a lot of team at-bats right now, situational hitting, moving them over, short game, base running, and we even this last weekend, made some base running Meyers, just on decision-making stuff. But we're still talking about the aggressive side of base running, which is a big part of it. Going to be huge for us going into LSU too. So I think a lot of times when you look at offensive numbers, it comes to how you run the offense. So if you have a selfless attitude at the plate and you can really work situational hitting, when you start putting the pressure on people, that's when the doubles and home runs come up. So we just had to change our mindset a little bit this year.
But was it in the middle of the season? Did you legitimately do a pivot as a coaching and as a team? Okay, we're not hitting 120 home runs this year. We've got to change the way we approach our offensive at-bats.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't even say middle of the season, 3/4 of the season, we just kept saying, oh, it's going to come. It's going to come. We're going to get there. And all of a sudden you look back and it's not coming, not what we expected, and then our practices, changed a little bit, and it got definitely more situational, more base running minded. We got into a little more things like you got to embrace where you're at. It's team 38 for a reason. It's not Florida State softball all the time. It's one team. It's 1 year's team. And we got to embrace where we're at and get after what we can do and do it well.
And there was a moment in the regional this weekend. I think Elizabeth Mason had led off with a double, and then there's a double to the fence where she does not score. I would guess you would probably call that a base running mistake, or don't tag up there, get a read off the bat. No, that's going to be off the wall or over the fence. But she still scores. I think you still scored 2 runs that inning, even though maybe you missed a squeeze bunt. Danny Morgan misses the squeeze bunt. And I think I talked about this yesterday on the show or Monday on the show, is what makes you guys so good is Danny Morgan misses a bunt and you give away an out at that point because she doesn't do that. Well, you still have a runner at third with less than 2 outs. And what does she do? She puts together a good at bat, hits the ball to the second baseman, gets that run home. Is that what you're talking about when you're talking about selfless at bats?
Yeah, the mindset. And I think once we got over the fact of oh man, we need to hit a ball in the gap. What are we doing on a 2-0 swing? And get after big swings. Now all of a sudden the whole dugout's keep grinding it out, Danny, keep grinding it out. And it's you feel the I just need to have a good at bat right here and if I can get a ground ball the right side. Not that I'm not trying to swing for the team, but now I'm in a 3-2 count or a 2-2 count, and I just got to grind out this at bat to see if I can get something production for my team. And then you go right back to the dugout and everyone's all about it. That's what we need to score that run. We needed to do that. So, this time of year that dugout's got to have some good juju for you when you walk in there, no matter how you got it done, we're going for the W right now. We're going for runs. So, got to feed off of each other.
And then obviously Catherine did what she did on Sunday, just a magnificent game. I wanted to ask you though, because, softball isn't like baseball where there's pitch counts necessarily. It's not as taxing on your arm. Some teams I feel will still throw a pitcher every game of a regional or at least 2 complete games in a regional. So when as a coach, when you have 3 arms that you use a lot, how do you decide? It's not she's at 100, I got to go get her. How do you decide to bring in Danielle or bring in Arnold or one of these another pitcher? And how do you decide, okay, I'm going to ride with Sandercock throughout?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. One is, if they're doing something abnormal. So if Kat goes into the beginning of a game and they're hitting fly balls on her drop ball, you're like, okay, something's not right today. So either we don't have the stuff on the drop ball, or they're offensively coming in making adjustments. So if they're getting underneath the ball early on, then we're going to have to make a quick switch, right away because of their adjustments. Sometimes it's matchups, right? Like Watson matches up really well against lefties. Like she's just a good matchup. She's a swing and miss pitcher with lefties. Kat can get me a double play if I need to, or she can keep the slappers in check. So I can pull those pitchers out of the pen when I need to for situations, but I also can go to another pitcher when I see other offenses making adjustments. So I think that's the joy of having three arms that have different looks. Kaylin throws a legit changeup that gets swing and miss stuff, and she can throw with high velocity, so she can get people on their hands. So it's nice to have three different looks that you can bring out and go against an offense. And when you're going in a 3-game series, you're not bringing the same pitcher out. So the offense has to make adjustments. So now, we've got 3 kids that can give them different looks if we're having to do 2 of 3 games. So it's a nice luxury to have.
And it's got to be refreshing as a coach too, and a luxury. They've all been in big moments,
yeah,
right? Like all these pitchers have tasted real pressure, and now they've all tasted postseason pressure.
Yeah.
How, I guess, it's got to give you some comfort. It's super regionals. You're facing a really good team, but it's got to give you some comfort. But they've already been in moments like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're still earning their stripes,
Right.
Sandercock felt it, in the ACC tournament, coming in to close a game is way different than starting a game. There's just different pressures. So they're still in their growing moments. But in my experience, in my past, like Lacey Waldrop, Jessica Burrows, Megan King, they all had to stay in those moments, and earn their stripes. And so you're right. That is huge to get to. And it's not just going out and doing well. It's consistently doing well. That's the big part. Like anyone could go out and have a good game or maybe throw together a rookie campaign, but can you 4 years consistently do what you do? And can you close it? Can you start it? Can you get out of jams? Like all those things. And those are the stripes that they have to earn. And Kat and Kaylin have done a good job. Danielle's still getting them, but boy, she's got good stuff. And so, yeah, you're right on the 3. It's nice to have them with that experience under their belt.
And you brought it up, the ACC tournament. I believe you would 6 in a row. You would won 5 or 6 in a row, and 20 something straight games, almost 30.
Yeah.
So when that happens and you lose, is it crushing?
Yeah.
Because is it more crushing because what just happened? This doesn't happen to us.
Yeah.
Are you able to flush it quicker because so many of the players and you have won so many of them? What was that like after you guys lost?
It's funny because I don't think we were playing our best softball. We're still trying to figure it out. And going into that tournament, a couple people have made comments to me about, do you realize that you've won for 6 years in a row, like a single elimination tournament? Like that's really hard to do. You still don't have a bad game. Like there's a reason why it's 2 of 3 in a regional and super regional and the World Series, right? Like you've got a chance out of, you don't just stumble. If you have one bad game, you have an opportunity to get back into it. So a single elimination tournament, that's pretty impressive. And I look back and I'm like, wow, that is really cool, because my mind is like, man, we're winning it. Like we got to win it. That's my mindset. But when you look back over the years, it's pretty outstanding. So at first, yes, very frustrated. Like, come on, you guys, like this is what we do here. And then on the other part, I was like, I have a COVID freshman class. I have a true freshman class. None of them have ever experienced the season. They've all come in with a bullseye on their back. We've lost some talented freshmen in the lineup. Like we have done a great job. So it came down to honest conversations. You guys, let's sit down. Let's talk about what just happened. By losing a game here, that maybe takes us out of a top 8 seed. So I know as a coach, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, but on the other side, you're still 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. You're still a process of learning how to play this game at a high level. But now that we're in the nitty gritty of it, when we kick off again in September next year, this is what we're getting after. This is why we're doing all those things. And so I think it was a really good learning moment. And kudos to our conference right now, and how many of our conference is playing Sunday. And, some people had to get beat twice like Notre Dame, and they did, but they got that feeling of being in, getting after it Sunday. So we've got 5, like Clemson's going to be outstanding. Duke's outstanding, just excited about the growth of our conference too. So, I think when you look back at the tournament run and the years of dominating conference, weekends in and out in regular season, it was pretty special to be a part of.
But I also would say this, and you probably would not agree. It maybe wasn't the best thing for the conference to have one dominant member like you guys. It seems like, if I could equate it to anything, like maybe Florida State football in the 90s, where they were so much better than everyone in the conference. And slowly the rest of the league caught up to you guys, or caught up to Florida State. And clearly you're still the best team in the conference. But isn't that good for you too overall? The better the conference looks, the better the RPI is, the better the perception is around the country, the better it is for Florida State.
Yeah, for sure. When we won the national championship, I think it really opened the ACC administrators, athletic departments, like softball is another program that can compete at a high level. And now it opens up for all these student athletes to go to a great conference to not only compete in softball, get a great education. We opened up a realm of a lot of things. And within a couple years, it's changed so quickly. You look at Clemson's facilities, University of Virginia's facility, Duke's facility. Like, it's not just softball that's being looked after. It's the whole picture. It's the support staff, the stadium, the community, and it's the growth of softball. So I agree with you in the sense you can't just have one, because we have many times lost a top 8 seed because we've won 3 games against Boston College and it didn't do good for us. So yes, on that comment. But now I was up at Boston College and we're playing there, and they have a legit indoor facility and they have a legit baseball and softball field, and that's only going to get better. So we take tons of pride in that. Tons of pride.
I noticed when you were talking about the regionals, you knew what the NCAA was going to do. They're going to send us an SEC team, because they always do. I feel like it's Auburn every other year, maybe every time maybe. And then they're going to send you a school from in-state, and there's going to be another smaller school from a smaller conference around, either from Georgia or Florida or Alabama. It's clockwork. It's a blueprint. And is that frustrating at all that there's – I know terms, and I know there's money limitations. But, man, it would be nice to see some different teams. And you're playing LSU again. Surprise, surprise. Would it be nice to see some different teams come to Tallahassee and you be matched up with different teams?
I think if you put yourself in that 1 or 2 seed, then you get the opportunity of getting people outside your region. I think it's called a regional for a reason. It's regional, and I know also, like, there's something amazingly fun about playing a rivalry. And we are in that little circle of quite a few SEC schools. And if you want to earn your stripes and get somewhere, you got to beat good people. And that has made us we've been pretty darn good. And I think that when we have to continue to go up against the SEC and get after that we are definitely earning our way there. So when you get there, you feel pretty confident about who you are. So LSU, it seems like it's clockwork for that to happen, for us and LSU to match up. It's created a pretty big recruiting rivalry in general. It's been big for us. And I think that we know that that's going to happen. So it'd just be nice to have it here. So again, you go on to earlier parts. Like, if you could get yourself in that 8th spot, then you could have it here. And then you're in a little different story than going to their park.
You talk about earning your stripes, though, but I have to imagine, just judging from the crowd that came here to Tallahassee to watch, the LSU fans, that place is going to be energetic. It's going to be loud. It is going to be a noisy, I don't want to say hostile, but maybe hostile environment. Have you prepared your players for that and what that is going to be? Because, again, that might not be something you see during the regular season, except for maybe at a Florida or maybe if Clemson, something like that. So have you prepared them for that, and what are you expecting when you go out there?
I am expecting, I've already seen a few tweets of some craziness already that I've shared with the team of, fans already tweeting at us to bring it on. And, that's kind of quite different. And, I think that's kind of an SEC mentality sometimes. And we've had it a little bit at Florida, but I think once we won it, we've got a somewhat of respect factor between the two of us now. And everyone just likes a good softball game going down to that. So, I can't prepare much, because we just turned around last night to find out that we're flying out tomorrow and we're gone, so you don't get much practice time. You just got to go compete. We do have quite a few seniors on the team that were there at the World Series, and all of a sudden that championship series, the crowd of 15,000 people, they're choosing one team. You're either Florida State fan or Washington fan. That's the first time our players ever felt like 10 or 15,000 people are like, they like you or they don't like you, and they could hear it. And so I have some of that. And then I have some freshmen that this was their first weekend in front of a full crowd. We've had 120 people here for the whole season. Right. Now all of a sudden this weekend, and they did pretty darn good with it. So same thing, bring it on. And when we get to the World Series, we're going to have the same kind of feel. So, we love adversity and we love what they do. And I think the biggest thing for me, I was always telling like, take a second to look people in the eye and look around, because you've earned the opportunity for people to yell at you. You've earned the opportunity for people to want to beat you. And I think when you get to this point in the season, like that shouldn't intimidate you. That should be like, oh, this is great. Like they want me to fail because I am on a team playing for something right now and they want their team to go on. And I think it's really cool to take and embrace it versus shy away from it.
And I got a couple more questions and then we'll let you go. We really do appreciate your time. How much fun is it? You've been doing, you've won 8 in a row of these things to get to a super regional. Do you still allow yourself to enjoy it? Like, man, this is cool. Number one, we're still playing.
Yeah.
But we're about to go play in front of thousands of, Cajun, yellow and blue fans screaming. You might not be able to understand them, but whatever they're screaming, it's probably not polite. Do you allow yourself to enjoy, man, look what this sport has become.
Yeah.
Look what my program has become. That it can bring on this kind of fandom against us, and let's just go enjoy this and have fun.
Oh yeah, we had a team meeting. Ladies, you are one of 16 teams playing out of 300 teams right now. 64 started on Friday, and you earned yourself a spot here. That's pretty impressive. And so enjoy that part of it. And then for our game to have TV slots, to have, the amount of text messages and information, emails I get from people around the country, I love how your team plays. I wish my daughter could do this. We are all impacting at so many levels, confident young women, softball players, sport in general, just, how you carry yourself. There's a big responsibility to that. And I absolutely love that. I think it's so incredibly awesome. And so, yes, you are right that we do take a minute to really recognize that, and then we get after wanting to win for sure.
And Lonni, were you hired in 2009?
I was.
So you were hired in 2009.
Yep.
What? And this was my last question, but if you could go back and talk to her as she got hired, number one, was there any trepidation about taking the job, or was it an immediate yes? I wanted to know that first. Was that an immediate yes when you were offered the job, or was there a little trepidation?
So immediate yes when I got here, but it took me a while to get here. I was 2 weeks away from going to Beijing for the Olympics. So I coached the Canadian national team. So we were already in Canada training, getting ready to go. And, finally they said, just fly in for a day, fly out. And I was like, I can't pass this up. So I was able to do that. And once I got on campus, immediate yes. They flew me straight to UNLV. I, met with my players, packed up my office, and within 24 hours, I was back to Canada and we were going to China, and it was pretty crazy. So, the immediate yes when you get on campus, as anyone knows that gets here, it is an amazing place. It's a family feel. All the support staff is here, and I was really excited to have a chance to be at a program that can win a national championship.
Did you think that though? Honestly, that, because they had competed, they had been in College World Series before, but in the ACC, it can be maybe a little more difficult road to hoe when you're recruiting against the SEC. So did you foresee this as I don't even want to say this is your ceiling, but the peak of a national championship? That was something you legitimately thought, this is what I can build?
Yeah. I mean, I thought I could do it at UNLV too. So I guess
sure.
In my mind, I mean, you can't tell me I can't be in Anchorage, Alaska and win a championship. I think it's about the people and getting the people on a mission. So, but I know that there's struggles with the mid-major. There were struggles with fundraising. There were struggles with things that my energy was being pulled so many directions. I couldn't give my all. Where here, I'm like, I have one academic advisor. I have a strength coach for my team all the time. That was just a different feel that I could give a little bit more of me to the field, to recruiting, to the things that would really impact what needed to happen. So that's where I felt, yes, we could definitely make a run on this, because I could be more involved in the areas that we're needing that.
But I was going to ask you, when you back and talk to her when she took the job, what would you tell her? Look, I know you're worried about this, but it's going to be fine. And what maybe was an obstacle that you didn't foresee happening that you had to overcome in those early years?
Oh gosh.
Maybe a concern that you had about where this program, what needed to happen to get this program where it is now? Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't have nothing looks back. There was nothing that I felt like I went down a wrong road or didn't do that we needed to do. We played a tough schedule off the get-go. Always appreciated that. We got into recruiting here. Spent a little time on the West Coast recruiting, found out that wasn't as beneficial for us as the East Coast was and certain states. So maybe what I didn't know about then is I had a lot of ties in recruiting on the West Coast side, but the more development here was more important. We definitely wanted our backyard, but boy, the state of Virginia has been good to us. Alabama's been good to us. Like those places I probably could have jumped into a little bit earlier and got after a little bit more. So that would have been a little bit better for me. But then it goes back to the growing of the game.
And then, so last question, I just want to ask you about your future. Just where do you see this program in 10, 12 years? Where do you want to coach until you're 75 or 80? How will you have you're a very energetic person.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're going to have the energy a decade and a half, a decade from now to keep wanting to do this? I know you're in the moment. You got to read the super regional to prepare for, but how much fun are you still having? How much ingrained is this program in you, in your DNA?
Yeah. I tell you, I love the fact that I feel like I'm at the crossroads of a transformational, transactional coach. Like I love the transformational side. I love a kid coming in and learning so much through sport and the university about themselves that when they leave, they can take on the world. And I feel like the ups and downs of softball really creates that opportunity to blend. Let's find out who you are through these ups and downs, and I can help you through that. I have a lot of experience with that. I love that part. And then I absolutely love that it ends up being a winning culture. And so I think that's what fuels me year in and year out is the challenge of trying to figure out how to make that the best possible way I can. How can I get you to grow up as a person, and how can we grow as a team? And then we're always winning. We're always winning the 40-win game series, the regular season, being in the championship game, like all those marks just really fuel me to make sure that I can get that good crossroad.
Also, last question. My son has a habit of stepping out. What can I do to get him to just think the middle, right center field? What's the trick there?
He's a step in the bucket guy, right?
Sometimes, man, when he really tries to jerk it, he's stepping to the side. And I'm like, Brady, your power's to center field.
Yeah. Travis always talks big part of the park. Yeah. So being able to get those hands through, right? Like that lead side, not trying to always use the drive side. A lot of kids want to get here so soon, pull that right hand through. So, yeah. All
right. Well, I'll tell them to cut it out. And Lonni, we really do appreciate the time so much. Good luck this weekend in Baton Rouge. Shut the Cajuns up. And hopefully we'll see you in Oklahoma City.
I love it. Thank you so much. Go Noles.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.